At any rate, we have the anniversary of the 7/7 bombings coming up in just a couple weeks here in, of course, July, and more reason than ever to shine a spotlight on that and all the false flags. 9/11, the Madrid bombing, the list is really pretty infinite, all having to do supposedly with Al-Qaeda. But then wait, we're backing Al-Qaeda in the Middle East. That's heating up once again. Not only did we put Al-Qaeda in as the Libyan rebels to topple Gaddafi, but now, of course, they are helping to topple Assad. That is heating up to the state of war. In fact, Assad himself has now declared Syria to be in a state of war, making it that much easier for the West to go full hot on what has been a covert war up to now, all part of the path to Persia and the possible luring of Russia, China, and other entities into a wider World War III, or what you would call it. Let's hope it doesn't happen. But, of course, the Syrian rebels stormed the state media, killed 7 people, and have effectively taken over that television station. Important, of course, to the bolstering of Assad's regime. Also iconic to the surge of the rebels. But again, the rebels are Al-Qaeda-backed Western forces. Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State, and all the other United Nations entities have been backing the Syrian National Transition Council. Basma Kodmani was at the Bilderberg meeting this year, so it's very clear that the Transition Council is not only tied to Al-Qaeda, but entirely Western-backed. They're just trying to get Assad out of the way so they can get that Western foothold in there. But it's complicated with our connections to Russia and China and the tangled web we weave. But we've got Condoleezza Rice back in the news. They say she's a possible vice presidential candidate for Romney, but either way, she loves this going hot with Syria. She wants us to back the rebels because, well, Russia's funding Assad. And while I'm sure that's true, we don't need to further strengthen the rebel force we've already backed. It's already been CIA trained, Mossad trained, British MI6 trained, all of it. We put them in there. It's a whole geostrategic game, and it's a perfect place to point out why the left and right really have no distinct difference in our currently occupied United States, because they both want war in the Middle East. In many ways, Obama's regime has been more effective at toppling domino pieces without the larger fallout. The Iraq war is still going on. It was a big controversy, lots of protesters. The Libya thing was quick, real quick. The Middle Eastern uprising, the Arab Spring, supposedly this democratic movement. But look what we have a year later. We have Egypt run by the Muslim Brotherhood. All those areas getting more and more radicalized, and the West just loves it. They want a clash of civilizations. That's what these neocons and these people in the Obama left at the CFR and everything, they're part of the same larger group. They all want a larger clash of civilizations. Just look into it. Huntington, I think, has the book. Anyway, the very Syrian rebels that Condoleezza Rice wants us to back are now ransacking Christian churches, just showing how extreme they are, how anti-West they really are, yet they're supposedly our allies. Shocking images have emerged which show the aftermath of Christian churches ransacked by NATO-backed Syrian rebels, illustrating once again how Western powers are supporting Muslim extremists in their bid to achieve regime change in the Middle East. And it's got this guy here in priest robes and them tearing apart churches, setting them on fire, and on and on. And again, we're supposed to be in a war on terror against these extremists, Al-Qaeda and the rest of them, and yet they're our allies, and we're letting them ransack these churches in the Middle East just because it suits larger geopolitical strategy. And that's just some of the images. The rest are posted on Paul Joseph Watson's article at Infowars.com, but just shocking stuff that's going on in Syria.